Okay, hang on. This light's too bright. Hold on, I gotta arrange a couple things. Well, okay. So nothing's broken. I'm just closing the. I'm just closing my camera lid for a second while I rearrange my curtains. But we will be good. I just need a second to like cut down the light that's coming in because that was a little brighter than I was expecting. Uh, Sorry. Hang on. Just give me a second to also just adjust a couple of other things to lighting, and then we should be good to go. All right. So I think this is good. Let me see. Relatively, I think. Okay. Yeah, this is gonna have to be close enough for now. So, hey everybody, happy Friday, Eid Mubarak. Hopefully the day has been restful and or productive for you, whatever that is or however it is that you need it. Let me just make sure that we're completely set up. I ordered Chipotle today because I'm treating myself. I also forgot that today was starting Fighting Friday voting, so I had to just stop. I had to stop and arrange that before we got to business. But that's up and running now. So, news and announcements and things for people that are here or if you're lurking. So, it is the third Friday or the second to last Friday in the circumstance that we have multiples. It is basically the second to last Friday of the month. And so, what that primarily means for this stream is that we do our voting for next month's Fighting Friday games. For next month's Fighting Friday games. Hello all. My 9 to 5 today was sleep. Sometimes it be like that. Okay. Sleep schedule is so fucked. Yeah, sometimes it be like that too. Unfortunately. But yeah. Announcements wise, like I was saying before, I forgot. Well, first of all, Leo, I hope that at some point, I know that it's not like a thing that can just happen, like, but it is my hope that at some point your sleep schedule begins to slightly unfuck itself. I know that you cannot control that, but I am still hoping that that is a thing that happens at some point. Is Pixel Chat still doing some nonsense right now? Because it might be. Oh, okay. Pixel Chat? Yeah, Pixel Chat is just going through it right now. Because I went to go check and it's like, we're so tall now. Well, I'm standing mostly. Though I don't think the desk is that much higher. However, hi Shark. However, if I do actually activate standing mode, this happens. It doesn't have like a tray or anything, so I can't exactly it doesn't have a tray or anything, so I can't exactly do all of that. So yeah, I won't be playing standing because basically I'd have to be standing up and like doing that. So I'll probably put it back down once it's time to actually like do to do fight game things. So yeah, announcements and things. So hi Shark, first of all, happy Friday. Right, announcements. So if you do exclamation point Fighting Vote Day, you get the link to our to voting for next month's Fighting Friday games. Because like basically, right, as is tradition, when we hit the third or second to last, depending on the month, Friday of a given month, we do our votes for next month's Fighting Friday slate. So this is a heads up. Probably with the way that things are going, right? With the way things are going, it's a pretty good chance that Street Fighter 6 demo, the Street Fighter 6 demo will be out by the time May rolls around, right? Well, it's already out now for PlayStation 4 and 5, but for logistics reasons, I didn't want to like stream it from my PS4 today because logistics reasons. I'd have to shuffle around a couple things, and I was like, I'm not doing that. So, probably at some point over the course of, the word is going to come to me, and the word will be good when it does. At some point over the course of May, we will probably play the demo at least once on stream. I don't know if it will be a full stream. I'll figure it out. But we are going to probably play the demo at some point in May. That might be a Gilded only thing, maybe. I may just like take a day next week and just do it as like a Gilded only thing. I may do it at some point as like a half and half stream in I may do it like a half and half stream in May or something like that. I'm not really sure yet. I'll figure it out. But I'm leaning a little bit more towards like, my Gilded community is here for me a lot, therefore they're the ones that get to see it. So that's probably the plan, but I'm going to think about it a little more and then make a decision. But it'll be sometime in May, I think. Because I would rather make sure that Dem's Fighting Herds gets the time it was promised for next week Friday, and then once I know what the suite is looking like in May, I can sit down and do some things accordingly. That said, June, we are absolutely, like, at least the first Fighting Friday is hard reserved for Street Fighter 6 if it's live by the time I go live. We're not debating that. We're playing Street Fighter 6 on launch day if I can swing it, so. Anyway. Aside from that, this Sunday, big note, I am 95% sure that this Sunday we will be able to finish Legend of Legaia. I will probably maybe I will actually like break my using Twitter thing to actually say, hey, guess what? We're finishing up Legend of Legaia this upcoming Sunday. If we finish, okay, I'll put it like this. If we finish Legend of Legaia Sunday and we have enough time, no, it won't be out by then. Shit. Never mind. Lol. Psych. Maybe I'll just do like, maybe the back half of Sunday stream will just be like a game dev stream if we finish Legend of Legaia early enough and I have time to kill and I'm not like exhausted. Maybe we just do that. But we'll see. But this upcoming Sunday, we are absolutely finishing Legend of Legaia. We only have like one more dungeon left. And it's 4 hours, and the dungeon's not that long. So I strongly suspect that by end of day this Sunday, Legaia is cleared. Okay. Aside from that, I know that we were talking about doing like the Year of Breath of Fire. I know we were talking about doing the Year of Breath of Fire immediately afterward, but I've been doing some thinking about it. Partially because I want to make sure that I don't forget to do it. I think I'm going to do Legend of Dragoon next after Legend of Legaia. and then maybe shift the year of BOF either a little bit later or into 2024. Thinking about it a little bit. Not because it's like, oh, I don't want to play Breath of Fire anymore, but I have been told that Legend of Dragoon is pretty fucking clutch, and I would indeed like to see it. So probably Legend of Legaia into Legend of Dragoon. We may have like one Sunday that we might just use like another game dev chaser to sort of like cut the space in between, or I might just jump straight into it. But I'm thinking that probably after Legend of Dragoon, right? Depending on how we feel, I may start the year of Breath of Fire after that, or I may cut in something not RPG to sort of like reset the breakers before we go for Breath of Fire 1 and then go forward from there. At least I think so. It's probably the count. So, yeah, that's all I really have announcements wise. I will probably wind up getting up at some point to go to just get food, whether it's because it gets delivered up here because I have to go downstairs to go get it. I just said I'm going to order Chipotle and treat myself today because why not? This is so cool. All right. So, now that I'm pretty sure that the only thing that I have to now readjust, I have to adjust to the adjustment of adjusting to the way that my desk is laid out now, because it used to be that the keyboard for Hainu, which is over here off screen, used to be on a tray for my old desk, and my old desk is literally disassembled behind me over here. So now, right, with the new desk, you can see the leg of the old desk kind of behind my chair just now if you look very carefully. So with the new desk, oh, I forgot to change the on-stream thing. Fuck. With the new desk, I don't have a tray underneath anymore, which means that both of my keyboards are on top of the desk, which means that it's even easier now for me to get mixed up between which fucking one is from which computer. Pain. But yeah, just give me 1 second to make sure that Street Fighter V is up and running correctly on this computer, because I forgot to actually install it before we started. So part of what we've been waiting for is just that. There's a program I use for Steam Deck that lets you share one computer's peripherals with another. I don't know if that's viable for your setup, but I can drop a link in the Discord if you like. Or in the Gilded. We can live with this. I don't think it's that big of. It annoys me a little, but it's not big enough for me to need to pick that up, I don't think. Okay, hang on. Sound's not transferring correctly, I don't think. Give me a second. Yep, sound's not transferring correctly. I will have to fix that. Yeah. Yep, yes, yep, Fighting Chance, UGM and Warlord, The Grid, sponsored content, health warning, yep. Oh, that's cool. Okay, let me see something, because volume. Nope, shouldn't have done that. That was getting upsetty. Of course it would do that. Why did you do that? Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second, y'all. I just need to make sure that this game stops doing output over to this other thing, because of course it would. Nope. It should be... There we go. 1 second, I just gotta make sure I do one other thing. Sound settings. Device property. Back. The headset here. Device properties. Turn that shit off. Back. There we go. Alright. Give me 1 sec. Sorry, y'all. I gotta just restart. I just had to restart Street Fighter 5 because it ran the audio input for the game through the headphone jack of my arcade stick, which is useful when you're at a tournament. Anywhere else, no. So I need to I gotta get Street Fighter 5 to cooperate with me. So give me 1 second. Always make sure that you pin Task Manager to your taskbar so that if you need to like get something to behave, you can literally just like slap it in the Task Manager and make it go shut up and turn off. Very helpful. Alright. Try this again. Who do I want to play in Street Fighter 5? I don't remember. Huh. Probably Akira, I think. Somebody that's not going to fuck up my muscle memory for the new game, even though we're like a month out. I don't think it came through to y'all. It was just really loud on my end, so I had to just grab that shit and turn that down because fuck. Also, Vallejo, I saw your comment from earlier about the sleep schedule thing. 50-50 between I need to fix this and clearly the normal definitions of a day cannot. Yeah. Remember, time is fake and mostly bullshit. We kind of invented time-telling methods just so that we could figure out what the fuck was going on. But time is fake. Okay, let's see. Alright, good. That's not exploding. The subtitles are still fucked up, though. Alright, hold on. Just gotta fix this behind the scenes real quick. Or attempt to, anyway. Because for whatever godforsaken reason, Pixel Chat... Oh. Of course, that would be why. Bueller? Okay, there we go. It wound up switching to my... Oh. It was also on the wrong mode, so that's why. Because it was also on the wrong fucking mode, because I was using it for something else. Amongst other things. So, no, part of it was also just me fucking up tremendously. Because, you know. Did I ever get the control? I forgot to get back the program that shows the inputs, huh? I should fix that at some point. And yeah, I know, scene, fixing it. Alright, let's see. Yeah, let's just play Akira or some shit, I guess.
Let's fight!
Hey, I was waiting for you.
Let's do our best. We got it.
Okay, good. Alright, good. I remember this mostly. Okay, cool. So, Street Fighter 5. Given that we have Street Fighter 6 around the corner, you may be wondering, well, what's the difference between Street Fighter 6 and Street Fighter 5? Well, for starters, unlike certain other duties of call I could mention, where the game doesn't change that much from installation to installation, by which I mean certain duties of call just literally slap, duty. Yeah. Certain games of that nature do this thing where they basically just go lol and slap some bullshit in and call it a new game. Street Fighter 5 and Street Fighter 6, while they operate on some very similar principles, are going to be very different games. So, the things that are similar. Street Fighter 6, in basically all of its incarnations, has been a 6-button game. You have light, medium, and heavy punch, as well as light, medium, and heavy kick, as well as crouching variants of the same, and jumping variants of the same. Right? Very straightforward in that sense. You also have, like in other fighting games, command normals, where if you hold forward or back, or certain other directions with certain buttons, depending on your character, you do different things. Revamped World Tour mode, we can talk about that. Hang on, I'm getting up just because I got a knock at my door for the food.
So what do you want with me?
So speaking of World Tour mode, that is going to be one of the major differences, right? So, Street Fighter V's single-player options, they exist, but they're kind of sparse and not super unified, right? However, Street Fighter 6 is bringing back something from the Street Fighter Alpha 3 days, right? I'm writing a co-host post about it now, and I'll post it later on co-host to kind of talk about the specifics of it. But Street Fighter Alpha 3's World Tour mode didn't let you do create a character, because this was like PlayStation 1 and Dreamcast era, right? So you can't do create a character in the old version of you can't do create a character in the old version of World Tour and Street Fighter Alpha 3. World Tour was only in Street Fighter Alpha 3, the home releases specifically, and never made it back in. Hey Stubby, I never made it back into a mainline Street Fighter game until Street Fighter 6. And in Alpha 3, you could travel around and fight other fighters, but it was all, characters that were in the game to begin with. No like random bystanders or anything like that. There's no real story associated with it either. You just picked an ism or a style that was native to Street Fighter Alpha 3, and you kind of just could level that one up and do a bunch of stuff. So, the World Tour in Street Fighter 6, which we got a chance to see, well, we got a chance to sort of see it more in action yesterday, and the current demo for Street Fighter 6 lets you play like the first chapter of the World Tour mode. World Tour now is a lot more reminiscent of not like Breath of the Wild style open world, but like set pieces open world, where you have a couple different destinations you can travel to, walk around, beat up some nerds,
Who the heck are you?
in the hub world, level up your character, customize their abilities, mix and match special moves. No, not. I guess maybe closer to Skyward Sword, but I haven't played Skyward Sword, so I don't know as a point of comparison. But basically speaking, we're not talking like Breath of the Wild, where it's like vast and all that other weird stuff. It's like you have specific spots you can travel to, and within those maps, right? The world is your oyster. It's a lot more condensed and streamlined and has an actual story component to it. You get to meet the characters of the Street Fighter universe. And okay, I know we meme a lot, especially on like Twisted's channel, about fighting game stories and how they're a mess and everything, right? But the nice thing about Street Fighter 6's World Tour mode is that the way that it's set up, it gives us an opportunity to sort of get insight into the characters and who they are now in the world post Street Fighter 3. What do I mean by that? And yes, we'll get around to actually playing fighting games at some point, but this is me talking like design shop things. I'm gonna go get something to drink real quick also so I don't like dry my throat out. So,
messing around.
The basic flow of the timeline in Street Fighter, for those of you who care about that, you have Street Fighter 1,
What do you want with me?
then Street Fighter Alpha 2, Street Fighter Alpha 3, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, so Super Turbo. Then you have, functionally speaking, because I believe the story modes have not changed between the releases of Street Fighter 4, like the only things that are new are for new characters. You then have like Street Fighter 4, which is like by now like Ultra Street Fighter 4, then Street Fighter 5, then Street Fighter 3, then Street Fighter 6. So, that sounds really confusing because it is, but the long and short of it is that basically, up until Street Fighter 6 came out, Street Fighter 3 are all the other... Yeah, because basically the endings, the way that the revisions have generally worked, right? Well, I should say Second Impact and then Third Strike. Basically, this is the way that it works. With very specific exceptions, right? With very specific exceptions, usually the last revision of a particular Street Fighter game is primarily the one that handles is primarily the one who takes precedence, right? So Street Fighter Alpha and Street Fighter Alpha 2, there's no difference between their story modes, really, or the stories that are told in them. Alpha 3, on the other hand, does take place some period of time after Alpha 2, because those aren't the same. But yeah, like Ryu's ending in every version of Street Fighter Street Fighter 2 specifically is exactly the same. So when you hit Super Turbo, right, it's not different from his ending in the original Street Fighter 2, The World Warrior. It's the same thing. So in that particular case,
So what do you want?
so in the case of like in the case of, for example, Street Fighter 2, the only version of it that's really canon is like Super Turbo. Right? Every other game that has functionally been made of Street Fighter 2 after Super Turbo has either been a compilation version, or like a re-release or something. So that's there. On the other hand, Street Fighter 3 Second Impact and Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, the characters that are in both games have different endings in both of those.
Stop messing around.
Hey, base. So yeah. The critical thing
So what do you want with me?
about Street Fighter 6 is that it now takes Street Fighter 3's place as the game furthest along in the timeline. Right?
Who the heck are you?
Basically, Street Fighter 2, if we're doing a comparison, Street Fighter 2 is like over here, right? Street Fighter 3, timeline-wise, is like over here. But because of the reception of Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 4 and 5, right?
Stop messing around.
So if 2 happened here, 4 and 5 happened here and here. And so 3, for the longest time, so both Second Impact and Third Strike collectively were like the furthest point of the timeline that we'd ever reached. Street Fighter 6 is the first time that we have now stepped past
With me.
the timeline of Street Fighter 3 and have gone further into the future from that. And I bring this up because World Tour and the new Street Fighter in Street Fighter 6 now is going to actually give us an idea of what these characters are like now that we have surpassed Street Fighter 3.
Who the heck are you?
And that's really why it's important. And so the World Tour mode is not just like, oh yeah, we looked at how like Yakuza was doing things and decided to do that. World Tour in Street Fighter 6 is also now a way for us to get an idea of what the status quo post Street Fighter 5 is like, or post Street Fighter 3 is like. Sorry.
So what do you want with me?
And that's the cool part. On top of all the other modes that Street Fighter 6 is going to have aside from that,
Who the heck?
Capcom literally said, let us explain to you why it is we have the crown. And don't you fucking forget it a day in your life. It's literally what happened.
Stop messing around.
How are you, Base? Hopefully well. So yeah, modes and such aside, I'm going to say that while Street Fighter has traditionally been less aggressive, or Street Fighter 5 has been traditionally less aggressive than other fighting games alongside of it, to a certain degree, Street Fighter 5 kind of emphasizes that a little bit too, but like more so than 6 does. So, obviously, right, we have our buttons. I'm just doing my button checks, especially because it's been a very long time since not super long, but it's been a minute since I played Street Fighter 5, so I'm just like, 1, 2. I'm just doing my usual button warm-ups so I can kind of like get it back under my feet. So. 5, 1, 2, 3. 5, 1, 2, 5. More or less one. So, right? All of those things, as far as like normals and things like that go, like normal moves and command moves and things of that nature go, Street Fighter 5 is pretty much exactly the same as Street Fighter 6. Where Street Fighter 5 is a little more restricted and where you start having to kind of like, we can kind of feel, especially if you played a little bit of 6, we can kind of feel like the strain and a little bit of what I call kind of like a lock strain in terms of like how in terms of like how Street Fighter V handles certain things versus Street Fighter 6. So, every character in Street Fighter V, right, has something called a B skill, as well as something called a B trigger, right? So, in Street Fighter V, right, every character has a B skill and a B trigger. Sometimes I forget how significant, or I take it for granted how significant the BlazBlue story. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who the heck are you?
So yeah. Every character in Street Fighter V has something called a V skill, right? You can choose which V skill you want to use at the select screen, as well as which V trigger you want to use at the select screen.
So what do you want with me?
By pressing both medium buttons together, right, your character does their V skill. V skills will have different effects. Some of them are attacking moves, some of them are like temporary power-up moves, some of them
So what do you want?
do various other things, right? So, case in point, right? Version select. So, Akira's B skill 1 is called Kiko Rensei, right? When I use it, it powers up the next version of Kikokai that I use, right? And the power-up version of Kikokai basically does one extra hit for whatever the current version is. So, LP, 236 LP, or light Kikokai, right? Does one hit. Powered up with Kiko Rensei, it does two. Medium Kikokai, hang on, I gotta turn it. Medium Kikokai normally does two. With Kiko Rensei, that's three. HP Kikokai without Kiko Rensei does 3 hits. With it, we get 4, right? In the EX version of Kiko Rensei, or sorry, of Kikokai, so with 2 punch buttons and Kiko Rensei on, like this, we get a wall bounce. Whereas without it, it just kind of knocks back, right? Additionally, each character also has 2 V triggers, and each V trigger, again, much like the V skills, basically do a thing where, depending on which V trigger you pick, sometimes it's like a buff effect that lasts for a certain period of time. Sometimes the powerful one-shot attack, not as in one-shot kill, but one-shot as in you use it, and it empties out your whole V trigger, but allows you to do stuff. Or a mix of both, depending, right? So, much like you have 2 V skills, you also have 2 V triggers. You can choose your V skill and your V trigger separately. So, the V trigger that I prefer to use with Akira is called Haten no Kamae. When you use it, right, it begins this timer for my V trigger meter, as you can see. And if I repeat the command to go into it, I just get access to a set of various attacks, right? And the thing about Haten no Kamae, or, well, there are 2 things. One, any move that you can cancel into a special move, you can also cancel into V-Trigger, right? And for a lot of characters, if you cancel into V-Trigger from like a normal or a special, it functionally means that you can use it as a combo starter. It will scale your combo pretty heavily the first time you do this.
So what?
but it can be pretty useful for like other things, right? It can be pretty spicy, depending anyway.
So what do you want with me?
Hang on, I gotta shortcut setting. Hang on. Shortcut settings. Good. Right. And so Akira's other V trigger is pretty good. It just calls in her big brother for one attack. He'll drop down, hit the enemy, and then do like a turn his back and do like a eruption of power with his back turned to you, and then leap out. He does that. It's very good for like lockdown and things like that, but you basically only get one shot at it until the thing regenerates, right? Or until you get back your V meter and can use it again. But you only get V meter either by using your V skill or getting the crap beat out of you. So usually, right, when you pop your V trigger, you are functionally risking it for the round because it's unlikely that you will build it back up again. Twice in one round. More than once in one match is viable. But like if it's the first round out of 2 rounds, it's like out of best of 3 rounds, it's not likely that you'll get to use V trigger twice in the same round. So Akira, as a character, right? Her main thing is close and mid-range space control. Once she's in up close on you, right? She has a lot of options for creating a lot of pressure, doing a lot of knockdowns, things like that, right? And generally speaking, like, when she has, for example, Korensei up or things like that, she can dish out a pretty fair amount of damage, though some of her stuff will need resources of some kind to like really kind of pop off. Akira's main weaknesses, such as they are, right? She has a DP, so she can use this to like snipe people who are trying to anti-air her. She also has this for that. We're trying to hit her from the air. She also has this to do that with as well. The main thing is just that you have to get used to the way that her buttons work. And while she has very good pressure, right? The main thing with Akira is that while she has really good pressure...
So what do you want with me?
What we would call your high-low mix-up is kind of weak. Which doesn't mean that she's a bad character. It's just that a lot of the time, when you're attempting to deal with your opponent's defenses, right? There are generally 2 principles by which you can deal with an opponent's defense, right? Something that we call strike-throw mix-up versus something that we call high-low mix-up. With strike-throw mix-up, the idea is that if your opponent is... We'll put on a random card, right? Right? Strike-throw mix-up is something as simple as, like, alright, like... And it's... I'm grossly oversimplifying it here, but, like... Sometimes the idea behind strike-throw mix-up is just... You keep yourself at a distance where... As you're attacking your opponent, you create situations where you either make them think that you're going to hit them, or...
So what do you want with me?
Failing that, what the other thing that happens is you make them have to guess between are you going to hit me or are you going to throw me? That's basically what strike throw mix-up is, right? You keep yourself at a distance to your opponent such that it's relatively easy for you after, for example, knockdowns, right? Like stay in to try to go for like check to see if they're blocking and do a throw, or if they're not blocking and you get a good hit, you continue kind of doing that. Or after you've done that and you go in again, they go, oh, you're gonna hit me, so I'm gonna block,
So what do
and
you
you throw
want?
them instead, right? That is generally, I'm grossly oversimplifying it, but that is generally the idea behind strike throw mix-up. On the other hand, with high-low mix-up, if your character has a good couple of what we call standing overheads, moves that you have to block standing like Ken is, right? So as an example, right? So here's an example, right? Most of these attacks all hit me, right? Jumping attacks hit high. Some characters have standing overheads, right? Where they hit overhead, they hit high or overhead, which means you have to block them while standing up, right? Characters who are either very fast or have ways of making it ambiguous as to whether or not they're going to go for their overheads, right? Or can create situations where you will be blocking for a minute and you have to be watching carefully to catch the overhead or not. And if they also have very quick buttons where they can go low instead, that's high-low mix-up, right? So Akira's strike throw mix-up is relatively good. If she gets you in a good position on the screen, she is usually at a good enough spacing that she can either keep striking you, attempt to go for a throw if she checks you on something, right? Her strike throw mix-up is generally okay. Her high-low mix-up is not. She only has one overhead. It's kind of easy to see. And so you can hit people with it, but you really have to condition them really well, right? Aside from that, not all of her special moves are unsafe on block, but a lot of them are. So you don't space them correctly, or if you mess up and you overcommit, it's very easy to punish her.
Stop messing around.
And of course her buttons are like relatively short range. But all these things don't mean she's a bad character, mind you, right? These things do not mean that she's a bad character, like, at all, right?
Kazama, let's fight!
It's just that, right? So, by no means is Akira, like, a bad character, right? It's just that, you just have to know how to deal with the fact that, for example, your buttons do not reach as far as other characters will, right? You have to be very comfortable with the idea, right? Strike throw, accept kind of stuff like that, right? If I got the hit, okay, cool, we're cool. If Ken blocked it, if I'm only a little bit at frame disadvantage after that, I can walk up and throw, right? So yeah, Akira's strike throw mix is pretty good. Her high-low mix is not. But it's not the worst thing in the world. It's just it just means that if you have a hard time conditioning people, you're gonna have a hard time playing a server.
Well, ain't you a high-def picture of strength?
Oh,
Take it here.
this guy's coming back in Street Fighter 6.
Get
The
out
nice
of
thing that
my
we
way.
found out about Street Fighter 6 is that Capcom just straight up told us everyone that was going to be in Season 1. And Ed is one of the characters that will be. Good. Good. That V reversal, a V reversal can be used to when you're defending to kind of like force someone to get up off of you. Oh, oh. Good. So yeah, a thing about Street Fighter in general that's also going to be true in Street Fighter 6. Not that you never jump, but jumping is a very dangerous proposition and not a thing that you necessarily want to do. You don't necessarily want to jump a lot because it's very high commit. It's very high committal in this game. And so you can sort of see that. You see how Ed is kind of like doing a lot of these jukes, sort of like back and forth. A lot of it is him trying to test or trying to like get me to overcommit on a swing. So that he can. It'll scale. I'm still gonna get kind of fucked up, but it's not. There we go.
Final round. Fight.
Yeah. So you can kind of see it, right? Like what Ed is doing with a lot of that back and forth walking is a shimmy, right? And the idea behind the shimmy is that you shimmy in order to try to get people to swing and accidentally put their hitbox out when you're not there, right? It's kind of the point. I didn't drop it. I almost dropped that shit and I would have been fucking shitty.
Damn you!
Thanks a lot, brother.
You win.
So Ed is also pretty good at being aggressive,
Fight.
right? And he has a fair few defensive options. Unlike playing as Akira, where I have to put in like motion inputs on my arcade stick and then do stuff. Ed, as a character, most of his moves can be done by pressing together like 2 or 3 punch buttons or doing certain other things like that. He doesn't have traditional motion inputs in that sense. So basically, what happens is that if Ed has meter or just gets the right starter on you, you kind of just eat shit because that's what he does. And you notice how Ed pretty much has there's a strike throw that I was looking for. Wait. I thought that was going to reach. Jab. Good.
Ready to go.
I probably could have done a V trigger cancel.
You lose.
Instead of going into Senshubu, I should have just done a V trigger cancel. Because I probably could have done a combo to kill. But what do you think happened? See, you sort of see what I mean when I said that, like, Akira... Again, it's not like the worst thing, you can work around it. But, like, the fact that Akira doesn't have... Like, with the way that Akira's normals work, and because of how short they are, it's one of those things where once people start getting into, like, that mid-range, and you have to try to reach them, you only have things like standing heavy kick and things like that, or forward heavy punch, which work, but they're a little slower, which means that they're easier to sort of contest if people are paying attention. Shit. Yep. I could have gotten stunned and it would have been... I'm not gonna die from this, it's gonna hurt, but... Dead. The shimming that he can do, sort of, yeah. Yeah. It also just has really good... I'm dead. Good punish. Yeah, Ed just also has, yeah, that helps. Ed's normals are also relatively pretty strong. He maybe plays at about the same range. He plays at maybe about, like, the same range, right? He plays at about the same range, normals-wise, as Akira does, but he also has, like, Psycho Spark to, like, help
What do you want?
offset that a little bit, because he has a projectile and Akira doesn't. So... And yeah, like, everybody, to be specific, really, everybody can shimmy, right? Like, shimmying is definitely, like, a character agnostic thing. It's a thing every character can do, and you can do it in games outside of this one, right? Which is why, when I do my warm-up sometimes, you'll sometimes see me actually also be doing it, where I'll walk back and forth for a little bit. maybe get closer, maybe get farther before I try throwing a button. I'm trying to remind myself, right, to know how to judge the distance. Whatever button I'm going to use while I'm also moving, right? It's because doing that will help give you an idea of when you should and shouldn't be pressing a button. So that should be interesting. That main thing is that if I can actually get a match with this person.
Get out of my way.
So to be clear, right? In story mode, even though, okay. So Seth's main thing, right, is that he's basically made for like just offense, right? I'm gonna be dealing with like a lot of like offense. I'm very much like a rushdown type character, but also very fragile. Right? It's one of the things that they're very good at. It's like, alright, lull them out, just gonna run you down. Right? Let's time that. Diagonal cradle, submerge, alright. Yeah. Also, Seth just has really fucking long limbs, which makes...
You're safe.
I'm dead, because I'm out of it. And super will chip kill this game. So, like, yeah. Like, the main thing that Seth really excels at is just, like, really obnoxious fucking offense. The trade-off, though, is that Seth is also extremely fragile. Like, pop him in the snout a couple times, and that health bar drains real fast.
Round one. Fight.
There we go. Nope.
Cradle.
Get in the corner, please. Nope. Good check. Guy 1,000 death. Oh. Nope. Stop doing that. The main thing that they have a bad habit of doing is the axe kick, though.
Round two.
If I can pay attention, I can probably punish it clean almost every other time they can do it, because they like to jump too much. And I have DP. It's not a good idea.
Cradle. Cradle.
Okay. Okay. Hmm. Yep. So yeah, like Seth is again really good at like aggressive plays, and and limbs long, and that's the main thing that I'm trying to like deal against right now. The fact that yeah, like I do not have long limbs by comparison. I mean, in this case, though, the thing well, in this case, it matters less in Street Fighter 6 for one reason and one reason only, which is that character names are back in the life bars now, so it doesn't really matter. You're like, this character doesn't look like Ryu at all. If you look up there, you can see who's fighting. So it doesn't matter as much in Street Fighter 6.
You lose.
The outfits that we have seen so far still look very like the characters still look very much like themselves. But if you're ever like, I don't know who's fighting, and it's really hard to tell, they have the names in the life bars again now.
So
Or rather, they have the character names in the life bars again, is what I should say. Mm-hmm.
Get ready for action.
And that is in addition to like having the default character portraits on top of that. So you know, well, to some degree. They're not as big in Street Fighter, like the default character portraits aren't as big in Street Fighter 6. But well,
You are supposed to rank in the top 30,000 in North America.
get out of my way, or get hurt!
This is the path of my destiny. Round one. Fight. Hadouken!
yep.
Hadouken!
Got me the cause up.
Good.
Yeah, I got caught with the cross up. Oh, that's annoying, but it's fine. Yep.
Hadouken!
I got hit with it. Ah, shit. Not fast enough. Yeah.
You lose.
Round one. Fight.
this. Psycho, right? Oh, damn it. So yeah, you remember how I said that like her high-low mix-up is really, that's the kind of thing I mean, right? It's like, alright, I went for the overhead. Well, part of it is that I also telegraphed that really fucking bad. It's very obvious. Damn it. Ooh, fuck. God. Alright. Alright.
Final round. Fight.
That's fair. It's gonna hurt. I may not die. Yeah. Fuck.
You lose.
Do this one thing though before I forget. Bleh. So yeah, Ryu. I know I didn't explain a lot about Ryu and his fighting style there because I was thinking and fighting for my life. But Ryu's basic thing is that
So what do you want with me?
he's kind of a power all-rounder. He's a fireball to control space horizontally, a dragon punch to knock people out of the air, and just generally,
Who the heck are you?
while he plays a very basic and kind of clean game, he hits like a fucking truck. In just like a general sense of the term,
Time for battle.
Stop messing around.
Ryu's fighting sounds very basic, but it does a lot of damage.
Fight is coming your way.
And he's very good at making single hits count a lot. You can see that he has combos, right? But even his single hits can be devastatingly very effective. Gil is going to be an interesting case because Gil has projectiles. Gil also has really fucking long limbs. He's not like a huge big body like Abigail is, for example. Like Gil has very long limbs.
Match. You have fought. Kill.
In addition to his projectiles, which means that it's hard to kind of like contest space against him. because he'll put out a limb, and you might walk into it, or you might get hit by it, and then you kind of have to eat shit. Yeah, so like generally speaking, right? Like
That is the truth of what you mean.
in a very general sense, like Gil basically just hits really like basically speaking,
Forget her!
his limbs are really long and it lets him cover a lot of space, right?
Fight!
The other thing you have to kind of worry about against Gil is that there's a critical system in this game called the crush counter system that Gil does not have access to, right? If you notice, sometimes when I hit enemies with like certain you may notice that like I hit certain enemies right, like that. You saw that, right? That's a crush counter. So if I hit enemies with certain moves as a counter hit, they get crush countered. So they may stagger, or they may fly super far back, or whatever. Gil cannot use crush counters, but instead, he has a system called Retribution that functionally lets him get a crush counter kind of at will, as long as he sets up the conditions for it. It's mostly related to either to his EX moves or by using his V triggers primarily, are usually how he sets up for retribution stuff.
Ready to go!
Fuck. Okay, they kind of woke up finally because I was having a like the way the first match went. I'm like, I'm not really sure what's going on here. They woke up a little though.
Spike.
Ready to go!
I'm dead. Yeah. It's like this Gil wasn't using as many of like his long normals, but generally speaking, Gil has a couple of buttons that are just like, nah, like this man was just covering space. A lot of it, and it's kind of annoying to deal with. A lot of what I got caught out there by I'm not using a lot of my slower buttons because I haven't. The hard thing about playing Street Fighter effectively is remembering that because you have 6 buttons, that means that sometimes you do need to actually shift down to the ones that are lower in strength, because it's not always about doing the most damage with your hits. Sometimes it's about like deliberately sort of like just forcing people to just like take a second and stop. Like y'all saw that step kick, right? That's one of the things I mean in terms of like Gil has normal set reach really far. He also has like those lariats to kind of help cover the distance. That's cute. Tried to parry because he thought I was gonna press a button and I didn't. Alright, let's sneak drop. I wanted to back though, but it's fine. Kinesis. Yep, there's the parry. So yeah.
Oh, nice. Cryokinesis.
So yeah, Gil triggered one retribution in that, and that's why it's like once Gil gets like V trigger, or if he has meter for EX moves, so he can set up the conditions for getting retribution to happen, then he becomes he doesn't need the crush counter system once he has the conditions to set up retribution to happen. It's kind of a pain.
Cryokinesis.
I thought I could get under him.
Cryokinesis.
Yeah, there's a Harry. I might die here. Yep, there's retribution.
3 times. Useless.
Right? And so the way that retribution works, basically, is that if Gil hits you with a move that has either a burning or a chilling effect, right? And most of the time, if he does not have V trigger active, he has to spend meter for that, usually. With V trigger active, what will usually happen is that depending on which V trigger he's using, either you'll get burned by certain moves or frozen by certain moves, right? And then if he hits you with a move of the opposite element, while you're either burned or frozen, retribution triggers and it functionally acts like a crush counter. So what he did in that last match, he used the ice.
Get ready for action.
I'll show you the dividing line. Get out of my way, or get hurt!
Round 1. Fight.
Alright. I was fucking I got done up for. Yep, up. Yep. Ah, shit. Akio, what are you doing to ruin your bike? Yeah, well, at the very least, this person didn't pick like Birdie on Kanzuki Beach. I would have been on this stage. I would have been really shitty, or Jury, because like both of those characters have fireballs that travel very low to the ground, which means that they get covered. It gets covered up by the waves. could have punished that. Okay, so not Akira. Karin's thing, really, right? Is that she is really, really good at being aggressive. She has, the main trade-off is that her limbs are a little longer. Yeah, this is one of the stages that got, yes, this is one of the two that gets banned in tournament play because of the water. So if you play as Birdie, for example, on this stage, one of your moves is literally completely obscured by the water here. Oh, what a pain. So yeah, Karin's main thing is just that because of the way, while she does have some input precision, it's basically a thing wherein, right, functionally, fuck. Ah, shit. I got hit with a cross-up. Oh, that's annoying. So yeah, basically, right, it kind of explained itself. She's very much she's very much just, again, in the same vein of, like, characters that are, like, really fucking aggressive. Her... So, yeah, like, the main thing that I'm thinking of,
Eureka!
For those who I wish to protect, I will fight you. Get out of my way, or get hurt!
Round one. Fight.
trying to think about the way I would describe the difference in playstyle between Cammy and the way I would describe the difference in playstyle between Cammy and because they do very similar things, kind of. But I would say that with Karin, she generally has a little bit of an easier time covering ground in ways that are a little bit harder to react to than Cammy does. Cammy, more or less, just has good walk speed and will walk you down. So does Karin, but the main trade-off is that it's hard to say. I want to say that with Cammy, her game plan is a little more linear. She doesn't have as many like if you're playing Cammy, right? You are literally just out fundamentaling people for the most part. Not that Cammy doesn't have like tricksy little things of her own, but Karin generally has in her toolkit a couple more things that are just really like deliberately much more like fucking weird, obnoxious to deal with. Cammy has less of those. Not that she doesn't have any, she just has less. And you see, this is why I practice shimmying into normals a lot. Because, you notice, right, we were going back and forth trying to see who's going to do a thing first. I pressed the button at maybe about the tip of my range just because I was like, let me just do something and kind of like either catch them sleeping, or either it's like catch them sleeping or just like see if I can just get them to block something out at range.
Fight!
Ready to go. Ready to go.
It's good. Yeah, right? So that's what I mean. So you can see, right? I'm not having it, but one is that I basically was a Cammy player before I was an Akira player, so I more or less have an idea of how she works. I also sort of know how Karin works, but the main thing is that Karin's mix for like strike throw and high low is a lot stronger than Cammy's is. Like Cammy, like I said, Cammy when you're fighting against the Cammy, it's more or less a test of like, because Cammy has things that she can do to like catch people sleeping that are what you would consider like gimmicky or weird or otherwise that. But a lot of it with Cammy is literally just you gotta play clean. Right? A lot of it is about like being patient and knowing, like baiting out stuff that your opponent is doing, trying to like create situations where you can like do obnoxious shit like throw your like bait them into jumping so you can hit them with things like that, all this other kind of stuff, right? Like Cammy, unlike, this is not to say that Karin doesn't require having good fundamentals, but Cammy needs it a little more because she doesn't have as many things that are like as immediately just like haha funny tricks go vroom vroom, right? So yeah, like Cammy's strike throw game is really, really good because Cammy's very quick and her dash brings her in very close to people very quickly. Good punish. He's up ahead. There we go. Oof. Yeah. So like that's the thing, right? Cammy just straight up plays
You win.
hard fundamentals game, right? Like if you are really reckless as a Cammy player, thank you for the GG. If you're really reckless as a Cammy player, right? If you're doing a lot of like, you can. This is not me saying don't play Cammy aggressively. You absolutely can. Cammy is really good at being played as an aggressive character, but the primary thing that kind of like you really, let me remember how to do fucking B shift. Okay, it is that. So the main thing with Cammy, right? And I know I'm repeating myself a little bit so I can remember what the hell I'm saying. The main thing with Cammy is primarily that while she is a, we're gonna do this one and then I'm gonna take a quick break because I'm overdue for break for a little bit. The main thing with Cammy is that while both she and Karin are very aggressive characters that can do rushdown stuff, right? And they're fairly mobile and stuff. With Karin, a lot of it is just like mixed from things like, oh, like lol, shoulder tackle spacing, lol, poking you with normals, lol, are you gonna get hit with like overheads or lows or shit like that, right? Whereas Cammy is a lot more oriented towards like strike throw and stronger normals. This is not saying that like Karin has bad normals, but like Cammys are generally more suited to like a lot of like that really good close range space control. So are some of Karin's, but they're a little more committal. Lariat. So yeah, like if I stepped into that trap, I would have gotten hit with cold, and then if Gil hit me with fire, yeah, like now, right? If I get hit by a fire attack, retribution gets triggered, and I'm not in for a good time. So I kind of don't want to get. Yeah. So like you see how I'm frozen, right? If Gil had hit me with anything that like does fire stuff, retribution would have procced. It's like getting hit with a crush counter. Not a good time. Yep. Oh.
Dark oil. Time to return to harmony.
Yeah.
You lose.
And that's why I was like, if you remember earlier how I was saying that like the obnoxious part about fighting against Gil is how long his limbs are and all of that. Yeah.
Round one. Fight. Pyrokinesis. Pyrokinesis. Pyrokinesis.
So yeah, right? He has pyrokinesis. You see that?
Pyrokinesis.
Yeah. Like his limbs are really long and he has fireballs to help him do like that good mid-range coverage.
Pyrokinesis. Pyrokinesis.
Couldn't tell what side I wound up on after that. Pyrokinesis. Oof. Yeah. Isn't he the villain? Yes, he is. Again, this game is before Street Fighter 3, but doesn't necessarily preclude his existence in it, you know? Punishable. Yep, there's retribution. Fuck.
Oh, nice.
Yep, retribution again.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so yeah, now you see why, and that's basically the trade-off, right? While Gil does not get crush counters, the fact that retribution exists means that that sort of doesn't matter, because if he, again, he usually has to like be in one of his V triggers usually to trigger it, or he has to like spend meter if he's not in one of his V triggers. But the trade-off is that that shit happens.
Pyrokinesis.
Ready to go.
Strike throw, baby!
I did it.
Round 2. Fight.
Thank you for the nice gold NC. Yeah, retribution again. Wow. I don't know what Gil tried to hit me with, but he stopped blocking and tried to hit me with something. Or just stopped blocking. Because I didn't get a counter hit, I don't think. I don't know. Because I thought I had enough to ship kill and I didn't. I don't think. But we take those. Alright. Break time, because I promised. Alright, y'all. I'm gonna get up, take a break, stretch, do all that for a little bit. You all do the same. I'll be back in a couple of minutes with more Street Fighter 5. If you have questions about this game or Street Fighter 6 that you want to ask over the, think about them over the break, and then get back. But see y'all in a little bit. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and action.
Hensi!
The jump to the sky turns to a rider kick.
There's only one person who can stop, and that's me. Hey everybody, my name is Sean. They call me either that or SJ. As I say on my own channel, make games, I play games. Games make do, basically. Did you really think that I was going to let you hit me with that? No. Guess what? I'm still alive, motherfucker. Going too fast is no good. Shut the fuck up. What else you got? I have to hit button. Button hit good. This no count, no good, self-absorbed. Giving free turns goes against my professional ethics. I saved your ass! Yo, the nerve of this motherfucker. The absolute gall. The complete stinkiness. Do you see these motherfuckers? They stole all my shit! Fuck out of here. Fuck you. I don't give a fuck now. Stank ass, punk ass, smelly ass motherfucker. Yo! Not with the deep cut. My brain is full of eels. Anyway, so fuck. Fuck. We should just play this fucking video game. Damn it. That's not fair. No, that's fighting dirty. You can't do that. Just because it's correct doesn't mean it's right. Just for that, I'll teach y'all to talk to me about the consequences of my own actions. And now, this poll that I'm not going to look at the results of yet, I'm lying, I'm going to look right now. Jesus fuck! Why are y'all like this? What was the reason? This is all according to my calculations. We will probably be fine. God damn it. Can somebody clip that? Going too fast is no good. You facetious motherfuckers. You really are gonna stand up in front of God and everybody. Oh my fucking God. No. No. I can't fucking stand you. How dare you? How very dare you? You right, but shut up. Give me a church. I told y'all I was gonna get a church, and I got a church. Apis above be praised. Amen. Amen. Hallelujah and peanut butter. Praise be to Lord R.N. Jesus. For in our time of need, he has provided. Can I get a blessings to R.N. Jesus in the chat? Oh, I'm back. Just needed like a quick walk around and to get something else to drink. But yeah, like now you sort of see what I mean when I say that like Gil's limbs are like really long, and that's part of what makes him really obnoxious. So he doesn't have crush counters,
So what do you
but he doesn't
think?
need them necessarily. If he had crush counters on top of retribution, it would be really really fucky.
So what do you want with me?
Time for battle.
Okay, Rainbow Mika.
'40th match. You have fought Rainbow Mika.
Grappler.
All right, let's begin. Get out of my way, or get hurt.
Round one.
So basically,
Fight.
Mika, unlike Zangief, represents basically what I'll call she's not a grappler in the sense of like Zangief is, where it's like big body, really slow. Mika has like a good, like Mika basically has like she has her fair share of like striking techniques and things like that. And is also a little more agile than Zangief is, right? Also, unlike Zangief, basically, right? With her V trigger in particular, both of them,
Round two.
both of Mika's V triggers are really good at extending her pressure, and Zangief is not like a pressure type of character, really. Oh, that's bad. That's gonna hurt. Eventually gets wrong on that at some point. I have to be careful. Oof. But yeah, like Mika's main thing is largely just that as a grappler, pressure,
Final round.
and like her pressure blender is a little easier to get going than Zangief's, basically. Dead. Should be dead anyway. Woo! Yeah, so like Mika's main thing, right? Zangief basically operates on the idea of I will get close to you, put you in the blender, and do damage that way. Mika will also get you in a blender and do damage, but the main thing is that Mika's pressure in a general sense is a lot better and a lot scarier than Zangief's, right?
Round one.
And that's the main thing to worry about. Also, do not let Mika cut promos. If you let her cut promos, her next command throw gets stronger, and you don't want that.
There you go.
Yeah, see? Like, with V-Trigger, right? Mika basically gets Nadeshiko, even with her other V-Trigger, aside from the one that this Mika's using right now. The pressure that you get with Nadeshiko doing coverage for you makes Mika's pressure really scary in a way that, like, Keith doesn't have. Okay, Moonsault to escape. I respect it.
You win.
Whereas, like, but this is an important thing to bring up. So, y'all remember all that stuff I just said about Zangief, right? About how, like, because he's big and slow, he doesn't have ways to, like, close gaps as easily, and a lot of it is, like, trying to get in, whereas Mika, her ways of getting in are a little riskier, but because she's a little faster than him and she has a little better range than, she has better options for gaining momentum, right? Because of those things, right, Mika is very scary in terms of, like, pressure and, like, fucking with people in that particular sense, and closing gaps in ways that, like, Zangief isn't, right? But Street Fighter 6 is going to change all of that, because in Street Fighter 6, with the new universal mechanic called Drive Rush, you can actually, right, basically go into like a dash motion with any character and cancel out of that dash motion
Against Chun-Li.
with a normal. And mind you, while Zangief is kind of slow and he has trouble closing distance, it doesn't mean that he has, like, small short range buttons. Some of Zangief's normals are fucking huge, right? And now he has Drive Rush to basically use as, like, a thing to let him get chases from moves that he has that are special cancelable, right? So it's one of those things where if Zangief hits you with a move now in Street Fighter 6, he has methods of closing in on you that he doesn't have in this game or in previous games, and he becomes very fucking scary.
Round one. Fight.
I gotta be careful against. So the main thing with Shunli, right, is that she has very her legs are really long. She also has like the long normals thing going on, and she's very good at like just pokes at the mid range. Is kind of her thing. Right. So, like, with her in particular, it's a thing where you can't unless you're playing certain characters, right? Like, trying to outpoke her at mid-range is asking for trouble. That's not a thing that you do, right? Because she just has really fucking big buttons, right? So the main thing is that basically, because of the way that Shun's buttons work, you have to force her, like you would have with any other character, but particularly with her, if you force her to whip, and her legs or her limbs are still extended, then punish city for you, basically. And naturally, a lot of her longer range buttons are a little slower, so it's one of those things where. Like, yeah, like, she will absolutely just, like, fucking stuff, like, murder you at mid-range, right? If you're trying to, like, outpoke her at mid-range, that shit's not gonna work. You either have to force her to, like, whip something, or otherwise put her in a situation where you've called out something that she's done correctly, but trying to, like, outpoke her, I could have punished that if I was not sleeping at the wheel. Yeah, like, again,
Round two.
just look at where her limbs are and how much space she covers with them. And it's like, yeah, like, you can beat her at mid-range if you're careful, but it's very hard. And while some of her longer range buttons are kind of slow, they're not that much slower. I'm dead. Or if I'm not, it'll be close. Yeah, like, it's just a thing where, like, fighting against her, if you are trying too hard to try to beat her clean, right? Trying to beat her clean at mid-range, where she's most comfortable, is not usually a good idea. So, granted, it's not. The main thing is that mostly it's just like you have to force her to whiff, or work around when she puts out normals in the wrong spot. That's pretty much how you deal with it. But like trying to outpoke trying to outpoke a Chun-Li player is like basically you're asking for it at that point. Unless it's Justin Walk, yeah. That may not kill. It's gonna come close, so it doesn't necessarily matter.
Round 2. Fight.
Yeah, see? Like, every time that I'm trying to, like, hard out-poke her at mid-range, I'm getting my shit pushed in, right?
I'll finish this!
Not ideal, but I had to make sure I was gonna get the kill. So, I'm out of meter, they're out of meter, but they have a little more than I do.
See you. Final round. Fight.
Funny? Yeah, I do. Because if you read them all, it means that you understand what you're in for. So, welcome on into the stream. I'm doing my best with the sound, but I don't... With the double stream setup that I have limitations on how I can transfer it over. And I have not yet figured out what the actual issue is. Thank you for bringing it up.
Not done yet, eh? Yeah. Not done yet.
You lose.
Hmm. It makes sense. Just think about. Sorry, just had a thought. We'll consider those alternatives a little later. Something occurred to me that
Is using their main character.
I may not be able to actually like do it that way anyway. I may have to think of something else, but it's fine.
Round 1.
Okay, let's see.
Fight.
how I meant to do that, but it works, I guess. Lol.
Round 2. Fight.
Yep, well. I died. Alright. I gotta hold that. It's fine.
Was a good minute.
Final round. Fight.
Ready? No.
I'm dead. Fuck, that wasn't gonna work. I gotta hold that.
You lose.
Okay. So, Jury's main thing. The main thing about Jury is that she, the way I would describe it is that she can play aggressively as well, but she needs a little time to, like, get resources by using, like, that move, right? Those little icons above the meter, the critical arc meter at the bottom, right? Those indicate what special moves she has stocked up. And with the special moves stocked up, she kind of does, she basically does stuff with her other kicks afterward, like that, for example, that lets her kind of like cover ground and otherwise cover for, and otherwise kind of like lets her just kind of like go in and close and do things like this, right? And with her V-trigger up, especially V-trigger 1 that she has there, she doesn't have to charge up her kicks in order to use them. So... That's not safe. Too often. Not the ideal punish, but it's fine. Alright. I got.
You lose.
Okay. I have to rethink that. No, also, before I forget, do I or don't I? Do I or don't I? Do I or don't I? I'll think about it a little bit more. Sorry, a thing just came to mind, and it's probably gonna bug me the rest of the stream, but I'm just gonna put it back. I'm probably just gonna put it back of mind, for a little bit while I kind of like sit,
What do you want with me?
Time for battle.
think on it a little more, and then make a decision by the end of stream.
their main character.
I'll think on it a little more and see if I can get it off my mind.
On your dad.
Actually, you know what? Nah, the vibes are off.
Get out of my
You
way.
can hold that.
Or get hurt.
Honestly,
Round one.
if the first thing you're gonna do is come into my stream and complain about both the sound and the rules, you can hold that. Goodbye. The thing I was thinking about, to be clear, is whether or not to ban that person, because I was like, it is petty. But on the other hand, right? Like, literally your first time in the stream, and the two things you're gonna complain about are like, why do you have so many rules? And wow, your sound is terrible. It's like, okay, cool. So then you don't have to be here, then, actually. If both of these things are a problem for you, you can go somewhere else. Like... Goodbye. Literally. Anyway. Yeah, like I sat and thought about it for a minute. I'm like, do I really want to? I'm like, do I really want to? And I'm like, you know what? No, actually, because the more I'm sitting here like this, I'm like, you really just kind of... It's like the equivalent of walking up to someone's door and kind of shitting on their doorstep and going, hey, can you let me in? The answer's no, actually. So you can actually fuck off. Anyway. So yeah, goodbye, I guess. Like, I was just thinking about it really hard for a second, because I'm like... I was just thinking really hard about it, because I'm like... I had every right, but I'm just like... Are they going to apologize? Are they going to do any of that? But they didn't say nothing for a couple minutes. I'm like, alright, you know what? Cool. Actually, then, you can eat shit. So yeah, Kage is basically, this game's equivalent of Evil Ryu, but more akin to like Evil Ryu's like Street Fighter 4 version, which is really like basically normal Ryu, right? Is if normal Ryu is about like strong all-rounderism, Kage and Evil Ryu both are very much a Kage and Evil Ryu are both very much what's the word I'm looking for? They take some of they exchange some of like Ryu's like all-roundedness for like straight up aggression. Usually Evil Ryu is, I think, and Kage by proxy are usually a little more fragile than normal Ryu is, but I might be dead. Yeah. Yeah.
You lose.
Oof. I also need to remember to block that person so that they don't like literally just roll up in here and so they don't like roll up in my DMs or otherwise do any other bullshit. Be like, ha 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 ha, snowflake or whatever other nonsense they might do. Fucking annoying. Alright. So yeah, but because Kage has a lot of the same tools that Ryu does, right? A lot of the same things that work against Ryu also kind of work against Kage, but only to a point, right? You have to be very careful about. You have to be very careful about when you try to like rebuy pressure against Kage because, right? Like if he throws red fireballs, right, and you jump at the wrong spacing, you get hit by Shoryuken, right? You have to be very careful about jumping over. The same way you would with Ryu, right? Like, it's for the same reason that like you don't just like casually jump forward over Ryu fireballs unless you're relatively certain of your spacing, right? Because if you jump over Ryu's fireballs carelessly, then what basically happens is you eat shit in terms of like getting hit by a DP, right? And it's like, okay, well, fuck. The main thing is just that Kage's regular fireballs don't travel very far. Like, he literally has to use a red fireball to get you to jump. So, if he fucks up the timing of it, of a red fireball because of the increased startup time, right? If he fucks up the timing of when he throws the red fireball, then you basically get to kind of like shit on him for it if you get the jumping correctly. But it relies on you being able to get the jumping correctly, which is a lot. Gotcha.
Final round. Fight.
So yeah, that's the main thing, right? When you fight against evil or Kage in this game, whatever. When you fight against this nerd, right? The main thing that you have to deal with is the fact that like he can be like, all right, aggress, and you kind of just eat shit. Hang on, y'all. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna just switch. I'm gonna switch screens real quick. Hang on. Let me not do that here. I'm gonna switch screens real quick just so I can go make sure that that nerd doesn't like come fuck around and ruin the rest of my evening. Give me 1 second.
Time for best.
We're gonna miss a match, but it's fine. I just need to make sure that I avoid any trouble. Just want to be sure. Alright.
Time for best.
Good. And that should make sure that they don't bother us anymore. Alright. Fucking weird energy. Anyway.
Let's go.
It's so like okay.
See you.
Come on, brother. So what do you want with me?
Time for battle.
Alright, we're probably going to get like another 2 or 3 matches in before 9 o'clock hits, at which point stream is over. But reminders, because I just remembered. Keep in mind that we are doing votes for... So,
In the top 40,000.
yeah, I'll probably get like another 2 or 3 matches, and then we're going to be done for the night. So yeah, alright, the thing I was going to say. If you do exclamation point fighting vote day, if you have not already voted for what games you would like to see in May's Fighting Friday lineup, please make sure that you vote. It will be open basically until like 10 minutes before the end of stream next week, Friday. So you basically have a whole week. So if you haven't already voted, please make sure that you do. If you're in the Gilded, you will also be able to vote. You will be able to vote on it even if you forgot to do it here. Oh no. That's plus. And I'm dead. Or not, because they didn't do EX, because that's not... Normal cannon spike isn't fast enough to hit after that. So yeah. Again, right, you can see that, like, this Cammy is still kind of playing the same way that the other one did, but a little more aggressively, right? That's plus. Throw. Forward throw. Dash in afterward though, and that's not quite that free. That's plus, I should have pressed the button. Good. Yeah. So you remember what I was saying with strike throw pressure and how that works? And how strike throw pressure can be really fucking obnoxious? That's what it looks like. Like, good strike throw pressure looks like what that Cammy just did to me. Where it's a lot like, okay, I might press a button, I might do some other thing, I might go for the throw, right? That's plus. That wasn't plus because it didn't hit from low enough. Good DP. That's plus. So the reason why I say that out loud is to remind myself to not press a button. That wasn't, because it didn't hit below the waist. Good, EXDP. I gotta be careful and try to bait out that. Shit. I wasn't watching the scramble. Whoop. Yeah, I got caught. Because I was trying to jump. I was jumping on the wake up because I wasn't sure what was going to come out.
You lose.
I was worried about getting hit by a low, and didn't quite work out. And I got done up. So, all right, that's fine. This is a very good Cammy player. They're pretty solid in terms of like knowing sort of like when and how to aggress and press buttons and mix up their options a little bit. So yeah, this is why I was like before I said it's not that Cammy does not have options for being tricky. It's that a lot of functionally what works most consistently for Cammy is all rooted in like her fundamentals and stuff, right? So if you're gonna fight against the Cammy, right, the trick is mostly that it's kind of similar to fighting Shinli in that you have to like force her to overextend. That's fair. That's plus. This isn't gonna kill. It's not gonna kill, but I just want to put the raw damage on, just to make Cammy a little nervous.
Thanks a lot, brother.
Because now, right? Right? She had to make more risks to force the issue to get in and kill me.
You win.
So it was like, all right, I'm not gonna get the kill with the super, but it's gonna put enough mental pressure on that I can afford to like pump the brakes a little bit on my own offense and let them kind of like walk to me, fuck up, and get done up. It's very much an intentional thing that I was doing there, where it's like, okay, I'm gonna put some damage on and force you to aggress to me, as opposed to like anything else.
Fight!
Okay, good. See? Force the whip there. That's plus. Nope. Oh. Left too much of a gap. That's not. That's even at that height. That's plus. That's plus. Oof. That was kind of a big guess there. I was like, maybe they won't block the overhead, and I was correct. Yeah, that hit just low enough to be plus. Yep. Excellent. Needed to catch that. You're dead. That's the also unfortunate thing about playing as Cammy, right? While she's very fast and is otherwise like very good at like putting pressure on you and kind of like potentially pressuring you into screwing up
You win.
with very basic movements. The main problem is that Cammy basically doesn't have a lot of health. Akuma either has about as much or less than her, and he's normally very fragile also. So basically, if you put, like... If you put hands, right? If you put hands on Cammy, then basically it's a done deal, right?
Get ready for action.
Who the heck are you?
Auto. Oro is interesting because he has a projectile, he has an anti-air, he has some other stuff. Basically, Oro, despite all that, I wouldn't describe him as like a Ryu type character. Not really.
Fight!
He mostly is really good at like zoning, primarily, with a bit of like really good pokes with his normals and things like that, right? Yeah. Uh-huh. And then of course he has like Tengu Stone, which is just this shit. And the reason why he basically holds a turtle in his hand is because canonically, as a character, Oro is literally so strong that if he were to use both hands, yeah, if Oro uses both hands to fight, the implication is that basically it's like, okay, no, like, he's in super serious series mode, which is why he doesn't use two hands to fight. So in the game that he actually debuted in, like in the Street Fighter 3 franchise, he actually literally just has one hand. Like the hand that's holding the turtle, he has tied up normally, right? And then in certain circumstances, when he's using certain moves, right, then he will do those moves with both hands, and their damage increases exponentially. It's very scary. That's plus, I think. Fair. Yep, got hit by that. Yeah, normally I will have a hard time against Oro, because a lot of Oro players that really know their stuff will use, a lot of Oro players that know their stuff will use his fireballs really effectively. They'll use this other, like, fucking sweep kick, like, this fucking, like, whip kick move also to, like, get plus, to, like, establish fair pressure and things like that, right? Ah, fuck. I got hit by the air throw. That, like that kick right there, is a really good way of, like, Oro getting some space back in order to do things. By that. Blah. That's my own fault, though. That's... Nope. Yep, that launches. Oh. This isn't gonna kill. But again, it's about putting the pressure.
See you.
It's about
Mother!
I might die. Yeah. Yeah. I had to go for it because I wasn't sure if I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to pull it off or not. Okay. It's 1-1, so let's see. One more, and then we'll probably end it either which way. So let's see if I can pull it off.
Round one. Fight.
Yep.
Ready to go! Damn. I choked like 3 times. God. I very nearly lost that round because my brain stopped like 3 times during that. Damn. Damn. Missed time the meaty just a little. That's good. Yep, that's good. I should have known better. Because, like, that rising elbow attack that I just got hit with, that is, it's a charge input, which means that Oro has to be crouching to do it. Oro has to be crouching to do that. So, the fact that I jumped in on Oro while she's been crouching for a while, I kind of deserve that. Mother!
But, you know, so it goes.
Win.
Alright. Sate. Alright. Thank you for the GGs. That is all we got time for today. So, mods, if I could kindly get exclamation point links and exclamation point gilded, please. So, game plan. Sorry I didn't ban that loser. I was half in lurk, so I didn't even understand what they were trying to say at first. I had to think about it for a minute just because I just wanted to be sure I was reading that right. But don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. It's taken care of. I'll ban him in Nessa's stream when I go over there eventually, so no worries. Alright. Links. Medium articles. After I finish Legend of Legaia on Sunday, I'm going to add a new Medium article. What's that Medium article going to be? About Legend of Legaia. Look forward to it. All of our stream bods are over at youtube.com/SJH Says Games. You can go ahead and go check out anything we've done in the past couple weeks over there. Ko-Fi. I keep more of the money if you subscribe to my Ko-Fi long term than if you do Amazon subs.
My preference is that, but if you want to do Amazon subs to avoid ads, I get it. No worries, I get it. Throne, I have things like desk and office supplies over there, but also funny things like Kamen Rider Pro Guys, Kamen Rider 01 Pro Guys keys to goof around with for stream. We don't fuck with Discord anymore because they keep pushing AI bullshit, and it's really annoying. So if you want to hang out with the stream community when we're not doing stuff, Gilded is right over there. Click that link, fill out the application, answer the questions correctly, and you're good to go. The rules are as long as they are here, or even longer, but it is what it is. Law Lamau, Nightbot, you don't need to do it twice, please. And of course, again, the results for Fighting Friday, we're gonna check that next week, Friday, 8:50 p.m. after you played some Dems Fighting Herds. So the poll will be open for all of this, for all the rest of this week, and through till next Friday. So put up your votes, exercise your right. Okay. So currently, I believe that we cannot go. So far, we have rated who this month so far. Let me see. Or actually, Shark, if it's not okay, not PT, Joy, or Dave, all others are good to go. Thank you. I was about to say. You know what? Cousin Street Fighter. It's been a while. I don't think we've been by Ty Tuesday stream for like a hot minute. So we're gonna go hang out with Ty Tuesday. That's Ty, like Ty, and Tuesday, no spaces for Mott to do the bait command. So right now, Ty Tuesday is playing some Street Fighter 6, probably the demo for Street Fighter 6, which is like 2 characters, and that's just about it. So when you get to Ty's stream, hit them with a good old SH's rate. Let them know who sent you, throw in your favorite emotes, all that other stuff. Legend of the Gaia finale. This upcoming Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Be there. If we finish early, a little bit of game design stuff. I'll show you some stuff that I've been working on in my off time. Next Friday, Dems Fighting Herds to wrap up Fighting Fridays for April. So, till the next time I see y'all, whenever that is, stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask, don't go outside if you don't have to, and be excellent to each other, but not to bigots, racists, turfs, sexists, and people who come up into chat to just complain about the rules that are in place for a reason. Yeah, I'm still a little salty about that, but at the same time, play clown games, win clown prizes. At any rate, till the next time I see y'all, whenever that is, bye.